There are three essential possibilities for our sense of self. The first, I am something. The second, I am nothing. The third, I am everything. And for each of these possibilities, there is a corresponding possibility for the mind, body, and world. The I in each of these three possibilities is always the same I, this present awareness. In the first possibility, we imagine that this present awareness is located in and as the body-mind. In other words, the I am, the knowing of our own being, which is inherent in awareness, is believed to be located in and limited to a body-mind. The I am becomes I am the body. I am something, an object. And in direct correspondence to this belief, the body-mind is considered to be the knower, the chooser, the decider, the thinker, the feeler, the actor. And the world is considered to be known or experienced, an object that is known by this limited, located I. In the second possibility, the I am is relieved of this superimposition of belief and stands alone, as it were, aware of or witnessing the mind, body, and world. The I am is considered to be nothing, that is not a thing. Previously it was considered to be a thing, a body, or a mind. Now it is considered to be not a thing, nothing. That is nothing objective, nothing perceivable or conceivable. And the corresponding position of the mind, body, and world at this stage are as objects of awareness. Objects that appear to awareness. Previously, in the position where we think and feel ourselves to be something, the world is considered to appear to the body-mind. Now we understand and feel that the body, mind, world appears to this non-objective presence of awareness. However, it should not be considered to be nothing in the sense of being an empty void. It is only nothing in contrast to the previous belief that we are something. In other words, from the mind's point of view, consciousness is understood to be nothing. That is not an objective thing. From its own point of view, which is in fact the only real point of view, that is the only unimagined point of view, it is not nothing, it is fullness itself. It is present awareness. And having placed the body, mind and world at a distance, as it were, in order to establish the presence and the primacy of consciousness. In the third possibility, we bring the body-mind world very close again. We realize, in fact, that there is no distance between any appearance of the mind, body, and world and consciousness itself. In fact, not only is there no distance between consciousness and the mind, body, world, but there is no other substance to the mind, body, world other than consciousness. And at this stage we know ourselves not only as their witness, but also their substance. Consciousness is known to be not only transcendent, but immanent. And this could be formulated as I, the I am of present awareness, is everything. That is the substance of all seeming things. The corresponding position of the mind, body and world for this third possibility is no longer one of distance. It is one of intimacy. The body-mind world are experienced pervaded by and saturated with the presence that knows them. Having placed the body-mind world at a distance in order to establish the presence of consciousness, we now bring them close again. In fact, we don't bring them close. We realize that they were always close. Whereas in the first position we thought just the body-mind is close to me, but the world, objects and others are at a distance. Now we realize that everything is equally close. In fact, closer than close. Utterly intimate. Saturated with, pervaded by presence, made only out of presence. I am everything. The witness of our experience is not something that may happen or may not.
No.
It's not something extraordinary that happens to you at a certain time and leaves you in an altered state for a period of time. The witness, I mean, are you not now witnessing our conversation?
Yes.
Witnessing means knowing.
Yes.
When you witness something, you see it, or you know it, or you experience it. Yes? So now, are you not witnessing or knowing your experience?
Yes.
The sound of my voice, the sight of this room, the sensations of your body, your thoughts and feelings.
Yes.
You are
that. Yes.
knowing them. Now, what is it that is knowing them? Knowing your experience.
Well, the background awareness, yes,
Yeah,
the awareness.
Awareness or whatever you call it, whatever it is that is witnessing or knowing or experiencing our experience is what is called the witness.
Yes.
It's not something extraordinary that might have happened to you for a moment 40 years ago. I mean, right now, you with a capital Y, you, what you call I, is knowing your experience. That knowing I is always present. When you were having lunch earlier today, your thoughts were different, your feelings were different, your sensations were different, and your perceptions were different from those that are now present. So everything about your experience at lunch today, and at breakfast today, and at lunch last week, and last year, and 10 years ago, and 40 years ago, everything about your experience has changed and changes continuously. But one element of your experience, that which knows, or the knowing element of experience, remains consistently present, simply witnessing or being aware of your experience. That is not something extraordinary that suddenly starts to happen at a moment in time. It's happening all the time. We don't notice it because our attention is so exclusively directed towards objects. We are so fascinated by our thoughts, feelings, sensations and perceptions that we don't notice, there is something that is aware of all of this. What is that?
Yes.
But as soon as somebody asks us the question, be interested in whatever it is that is aware of your experience. Something very magical happens. As soon as someone says, be interested in that which is aware of your experience, we cease focusing on the objects of experience. We cease focusing exclusively on thoughts, sensations and perceptions. And in that moment there is a relaxation of the mind, a relaxation of the focus of our attention on objects. And in that moment the presence of awareness is noticed. The presence of awareness doesn't start then. We just notice it. It's equivalent to being so fascinated by a movie that all we see is the drama in the movie. And at some point somebody says to us, be interested on whatever it is the movie is playing on. You keep watching the movie, but there is a relaxation of the exclusive interest in the drama, and suddenly you see the screen. Did the screen start at that moment? No. The screen was present all along, but you hadn't noticed it because you were so absorbed in the drama. It's the same thing. We don't notice the presence of awareness because we are so absorbed by the drama of thoughts, feelings, sensations and perceptions. But as soon as we relax our interest in the drama, we don't even need to get rid of the drama. As soon as we relax the focus of our attention on the drama, there's the presence of awareness. Just this silent, open, inherently peaceful presence of awareness, simply witnessing or watching the movie of experience. So to begin with, it's legitimate to say that this presence of awareness is in the background of experience, just like we might say that the screen is behind the movie. That is only said to one who is infatuated by the contents of the movie. So the teaching says to him, no, see that the screen is behind the movie. See that the presence of awareness is behind the mind. Actually, it's not behind the mind. The screen is not behind the movie, because all there is to the movie is the screen. So the first step is to discover the witnessing presence of awareness behind the experience, and the second step in the midst of experience. So don't expect something special to happen. These stories about people who notice who have 2 weeks barely able to walk down the street or sit on the sofa. These kind of situations, these kind of experiences occur when there has been such a contraction of the attention on objects, when the attention has been so exclusively focused on objects that this relaxation triggers a series of side effects in the body-mind. So for some time, for a couple of weeks in your friend's case, for some time there is a complete disorientation in the body-mind, because that body-mind has been so gripping onto external or objective experience so tightly that this relaxation throws him into confusion. Other people have to sit on park benches for 2 years while their body and mind reacclimatizes. So tightly focused was the mind on objects that this relaxation, it's disorientating. So nothing wrong with that, no criticism of that. But it doesn't have to happen like that. In fact, in most cases it doesn't. It could also happen like this. Oh yes, of course. There's something that is aware of my experience. I had never... Why did nobody tell me that before? Of course. My thoughts are flowing through an empty space. My feelings and sensations are appearing in this same empty space, and this empty space it's inherently peaceful. It's never stained by experience. That's it. It could happen like that. And then that person would just keep visiting, keep noticing this openness in which experience appears, and begin to live there more and more, so that their thoughts and feelings in time would become saturated with the peace of awareness. And they would never be able to report anything special. In fact, it's not even quite right to say that experience is pervaded by the knowing of it, like a sponge is pervaded by water. We would never say that the image of a movie was pervaded by the screen, because this would suggest that there was one thing called an image and another thing called the screen, and that the screen pervaded the image. There aren't in fact two things there, image and screen. There isn't one thing pervading another. That's just a manner of speaking. The screen doesn't pervade the image, it is the image. There is nothing there in the image other than screen. Image is a modulation of the screen. Now go back to your experience. Ask yourself, do I ever know or come in contact with anything other than the knowing of my experience? Try now, play devil's advocate with yourself. Try to find something other than the knowing of your experience. For instance, try to find something called a mind, or a body, or a world, that exist independently in their own right, separate from knowing. This knowing is all that is ever known. And this knowing is not known by something other than or outside of itself. It is this knowing that knows itself. If we go back to our metaphor of the screen and the movie, it's a screen that is not being watched by somebody sitting on a sofa. It is a screen that is an aware screen. The screen is watching the movie that is appearing on it. In fact, the movie is not appearing on the screen. It is just the screen modulating itself in the multiplicity and diversity of names and forms that appear as the movie. But from the screen's point of view, there is no multiplicity and diversity of names and forms. There is just itself, one seamless, intimate substance. From the point of view of one of the characters in the movie, there is a multiplicity and diversity of names and forms, people, objects, things, bodies, a world, etc. But from the screen's point of view, which is the only real point of view, there are no such things. It never knows an object as an object. It just knows itself, modulating itself as all appearances. Likewise, this knowing, yourself, pure awareness, never knows or comes in contact with anything other than itself. All experience is a modulation of itself. It doesn't know experience as a multiplicity and diversity of selves, things, objects. Objects are only objects from the point of view of a separate subject. The separate subject is the character in the movie, the self that thought abstracts from this seamless intimacy of pure knowing. It is thought alone which imagines that knowing takes place in this little corner of experience called my body-mind. And with that belief, our true self of ever-present, unlimited awareness, the light of pure knowing, contracts or seems to contract inside a body and a mind and become a separate, limited self. And as an inevitable corollary to that contraction, the outside object, other, or world are projected outside. Hence, duality is born, the inside self and the outside world. But for pure knowing, for pure consciousness, the one that truly knows, there is no such thing. There is no inside self and no outside object, other, or world. There is just itself, modulating itself in all the forms of experience, taking the shape of thinking and seeming to become a mind, taking the shape of sensing and seeming to become a body, taking the shape of seeing, hearing, touching, tasting and smelling, and seeming to become a world, but never actually being or becoming any of these things, only ever being and knowing itself. Pure, luminous, empty awareness. The common name for this experience is love or beauty. Love is not to know the other as an other. The experience of beauty is not to know an object as an object. That is the way consciousness experiences. All it knows is itself. All it loves is itself. It is. The knowing of itself is the experience of love. Every time we experience peace, happiness, love, beauty, joy, we are, without knowing it, dying in that moment as a separate self. And in that timeless moment, our true nature shines. When thought comes back, it misinterprets the experience and attributes it to the object, the activity, the person, and said, my happiness was on account of that particular object. My love is on account of that particular person. With that thought, happiness or love are veiled, and the separate self goes out again into the world in search of peace, happiness, or love. What it is truly searching for is its own true nature, which seems to be hidden, but in fact is not hidden. It's shining brightly in all experience.